Not sure if I have you in the right spot or not. Better over here with my messy stuff behind me? Maybe so. Yeah, this is a little bit of a different style of video. I'm using my vlog camera, but it is kind of just like a sit down check-in, I guess. And I want to share a little bit about a recent challenging experience I had. I mentioned a while ago in another vlog, I mentioned kind of cryptically that I was in conversation with someone about a potential, I think I said like really cool project. And I hate it when people do that in vlogs, but that's what I did anyway. Maybe some of you had guessed it then, and if not, you've certainly guessed it now by the title of this video. But the project was a book deal. And I'll give away the big climactic ending right now and just say that the book deal did not happen. It's not happening. But today I wanted to share a bit about the process with you guys. Just, I don't know if you'll find it interesting or not, but it's been something that's been going on for me. So I do try to mention the things that are significant professionally in most of my vlogs and my videos in one way or another. So this has been a significant thing. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it today. And I'm also at a stage where I am kind of reflecting on the process and what happened, and maybe whether there are some new goals that for me that are arising out of that. And it's usually helpful for me to hear from you all too, kind of what you're seeing, and here's what happened. So I have been offered book deals a few times in the past, over the past couple years, never to illustrate a book. I'm still waiting on that book deal, by the way. If somebody wants me to illustrate a cookbook, I would love to do that. Yeah, I've been offered deals in the past to write books, and the times it's happened in the past, it's been like really small publishers who weren't able to offer anything clear or concise or like upfront about what the compensation would be like. So it always kind of left me wondering, like, okay, well, if I put all this time, like, is this going to be worthwhile, basically, because it is a hugely time-consuming thing. And also in the past, they had come to me, the publishers that have reached out to me in the past had come to me with a very specific idea. Like, we want you to do a book about like how to draw flowers, or how to do like 10 steps to this or that. Like, they had the concept already, and they were just looking for somebody to write it and put their name on it. And I think I said they were always like really small publishers that I had never heard of. So I had said no to those, honestly, mainly because I just wasn't that interested in the ideas that they wanted me to write about. And then the combination of having it be something that I'm not that interested in and something that probably wouldn't pay very well, like, yeah, it was kind of like, all right, well, why would I do it? So those were always no-brainers. And then I guess it probably would have been close to 2 months ago now that I was contacted by a publisher and another publisher, and it is the indie imprint of one of the big 5 publishers. So it was distributed by this big 5 publisher. It would have their name on it, their marketing behind it. It was obviously one that I had heard of. They had published books that I already owned and liked. So I was pretty pumped when they reached out to me, and they asked for a phone call to explore the idea. And they just said some sort of generalities, some like nice things about my work. And they had seen my YouTube channel and all that, as well as my illustration. Had reached out to me via email, said those nice things, and then asked for a phone call. So we had a phone call, and it was a great conversation. I think we talked for a little bit over an hour. I came away understanding and feeling like they really just didn't have any specific goal in mind the way other publishers had. Well, no, they didn't have like a pre-packaged kit that they just wanted me to fill out. Like they were interested in connecting with with content creators who they felt like had a positive message, had something unique to say, and just wanted to support them to write whatever book they wanted that felt authentic in their voice. So that was really exciting to me because it was very different than what I heard from the other publishers. And the idea of, if I'm going to put, like, I have never done it, so I don't know for sure, but I imagine writing a book is a lot of work. And if I'm going to put all of the work and, blood, sweat, and tears into it, I want it to be something that I care about and am interested in and would stand behind. So I felt like I was hearing them say all of the right things. And we ended the call with kind of a rough concept for a book. And the idea was that I would share some of my own experience, some of the same kinds of stuff that I had in my art timeline video. So kind of like the non-conventional journey into full-time professional freelancing, freelance illustration specifically. And share some of the journey, and then also kind of try to distill and pull out concepts or principles from that would be helpful for other people who are in that stage, and maybe have like some reflection questions and journal sections and all that. So it'd be like part memoir, part advice guidebook, part reflection question exercises journal thing. So I had never seen anything quite like that, and they hadn't either. And I was pretty excited about it, to be honest. I was like, wow, this is like a cool idea, because the response to that video so far has been, I've just been amazed by it, and I'm so thankful for it and appreciative. And and it just really encouraged me to try to continue to look for opportunities to share my experience where I can, because I don't know. You hear people say this all the time, but still it doesn't quite feel natural to think like, oh yeah, what I went through, my experience, like that can help someone else. Like, it's, at least for me, it's much more natural to try to like not share it because I feel like, well, nobody wants to know that. But it's just a good reminder that like it is encouraging to other people. So I'll leave that video in the description box as well if you want to see it. This call, the timing was so crazy too, because their email and call came like a week after that video published. So I was feeling like, I feel cheesy even saying this, but I was like, oh, this is like a sign, like all the things are coming together. Like I should totally do this. So that we ended the call with that concept. And my next step was to write a proposal, which would include an outline and a sample chapter. So I went and I did that. I wrote the outline, wrote the sample chapter. And then while I was doing that, they also put together a contract that had the concept. It had like the schedule that I would do for writing. It had the royalties and the, the advance. Like it was a for real contract. It was all there and I had it. And I wrote this proposal and, I sent it to them. I think I had like a week and a half maybe to write it. So it was really fast. I sent it to them, and after they reviewed it, they came back and they said some nice things, but they also said they felt like it wouldn't have a very wide appeal, that it would just be like way too specific. And, maybe my existing audience would like it, but that there wouldn't be any new audience for it. And if they were going to publish a book, they wanted it to like be something that would reach far beyond my current audience, because not complaining at all, but like just in the grand scheme of things, I don't have a huge audience. Like there are certainly art YouTubers who are just like, 10 or 20 times the size of my channel. So I get what they're saying. Like I don't have this like mega audience where if only my audience bought the book, like then that would be enough. So I understood that. And of course, like at the end of the day, they're business people. So, okay, like fine, I get it. However, they were still really interested in having me write a book. And so they suggested, what about if we do something that's more like an instructional book? And, you could pull from and combine and add to like some of the concepts or the curriculum that you have developed for Skillshare. And I am open to that idea. I'm not like totally closed to writing a technique book. I think I do tend to feel like video is just like the perfect form for teaching art. So that's part of why I wasn't like suggesting a technique or a textbook to begin with, because I feel like, why would I do that when video is so good and video is so natural for the medium? But still, I'm open to it. I'm trying to I'm trying to stay positive. And, so I said, yeah, sure. Like, here are some of the outlines I've done for Skillshare. Like, these are some of the techniques and concepts, and I could, add to them and fill that out and come up with, sample projects and, exercises and things that people could do. And so they were like, okay, sounds cool. And I also was this is like several emails back and forth, so I'm just condensing it. But I was pretty clear and concise about the fact that, clear and direct, maybe not concise. I don't think I'm ever concise, but I was clear and direct about the fact that I was interested, if I was going to do an instructional book, I would want it to be focused on technique and basically to be kind of in a format that's the same way that you learn in art school, which is the way that I learned, and the way of learning that kind of cracked things open for me and made me able to like conceptualize, okay, this is how I do this. This is how I get better at that. That was what was really transformative for me, was learning, techniques. And basically in art school, you would have at least for me, you'd have a professor be like, here's a concept. So here's how 3/4 perspective works. And then would show you some examples of that, and maybe do like a little live drawing. And that would all last like 15 minutes. And then you would be thrown for the rest of the like 3 or sometimes 4 hour classes, just like thrown in the deep end to practice it yourself. And that was how I learned. And some version of that is how I have tried to teach on Skillshare. So yes, I will show the process of a painting from start to finish, but I'm explaining the techniques. I'm not saying, and now you put the brush stroke here, and now you do this stroke there, and now you use this color right here. Like, I don't do a step-by-step. I don't do paint by number. And so I said that very clearly, like that I would want it to be technique focused, and it wouldn't be like a step-by-step, here are the 10 steps to drawing a cat. That I just wasn't interested in doing those kind of books. That's not how I teach. That's not how I learn. It wouldn't be authentic for me. And so their response was like, oh, yeah. Oh, sounds great. We totally get that. So maybe you could just like have 5 paintings that you would really thoroughly explain, like from start to finish, step by step, exactly how someone could reproduce those paintings. I was like, so you want me to do the exact thing that I have just said that I didn't want to do? And then to kind of make it even harder, that was basically like what the other publishers were asking. So to have this like step by step, here's how you do the painting. They put this color here, that color here, this color here. And I am not meaning to diss anybody who enjoys that kind of content or who creates that kind of content. But for me, it is not authentic. Like that is not how I learned. I never have looked for that kind of content myself. I never found it helpful, especially in my context. If you do cartooning or I don't want to sound snobby. Like if you do a simpler form of drawing, then it is technically possible to show someone the 10 steps for how to draw a cat. But if you're painting a really realistic, detailed cat that takes like 10, 15, 20 hours, it is just not logistically possible to walk someone through every step involved. It's like saying, okay, let me take this person who has never climbed a mountain before and just like hold their hand up Kilimanjaro. Like not that my work is Kilimanjaro. I just mean like doing something really complex that involves so many different steps and components and techniques. There is no way in my mind to do that, to walk someone through step by step and have them get the end result that is promised. So that's another reason why I just didn't feel good about it. I was like, I can't promise someone, here are the 200 steps to create a realistic painting of whatever it is. Like, I just don't think that that's possible, let alone whether it's beneficial or helpful in terms of a teaching strategy, a pedagogy. So, we went back and forth a few times, and then I ended up basically just saying that. I said that I just wasn't, yeah, that I wasn't comfortable with it and it wasn't authentic to me. And these are the reasons why I couldn't do that. And I thanked them so much. And, obviously I want to be like as kind and positive as I can, because who knows where any of these people will be working in 5 or 10 years. And another takeaway for me from this is that I do feel like I want to write a book at some point. Yeah, so I don't want to like alienate any connections or whatever, but yeah, I just felt like it was really important to say no, because I didn't, even though it was harder in this situation because there would have been real money involved and it would have been working with like a big publisher and all that would have been really cool. But I just, at the end of the day, when I reflected on it, I felt like I just can't, I guess it's an ethical thing. Like, I feel like it will be wrong I can't promise people these results because I don't think it's possible. I don't think if you're a beginner, you can just like go from having no practice to climbing the top of Kilimanjaro in like one sitting. It's just not possible. And then I also just don't connect with that way of teaching and learning, and I don't enjoy it. So it felt like it would have been dishonest, I guess, if I had agreed. So, yeah. And like I said, this whole process has made me realize I do want to write a book, but I don't know, like, should I do the kind of book that, the technique kind of book that I would want to do, or should I do the kind of more, the first book that I mentioned, the like kind of part memoir, part advice, part reflection journal. And then what do I do with the stuff that I've already developed? Because I did spend several days kind of working on this proposal, which includes a whole sample chapter. So I don't know. I guess I'm hoping to hear from you guys about like what sort of, if I were to invest the time and say maybe even look into like self-publishing or something, like which kind of book would you be interested in seeing? And then in terms of the work that I've already done, I don't know, it's pretty long, but I was like, can I share that in my newsletter? Where's a place that I can share this with people and just see if it's any good, if you guys like it, if it lands at all. So that is where I am. I hope this was interesting to hear about. Yeah, that's, I guess that's kind of all I have to say. So, as usual, let me know what you think in the comments, and, big thanks to my patrons for supporting this channel and making it possible for me to make weekly videos for you guys. And, big thanks as well to Meg, who edits the videos and, who is always so patient with me and my, long-windedness. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope everybody has a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.